Assalamu alaikum, Khizar bhai. How's it going?
Walaikum assalam. Sure.
Thank you
Alhamdulillah.
for coming on this short interview. It's really good to have someone from the States, mashallah, from Ohio. And you're someone, I joke that I get a lot of IT professionals coming my way. And mashallah, so yeah, tell us a bit about your context in the States, what job you had in IT, and what drew you to Vista in the first place.
Right. So I am in IT from the past 14 plus years. More of a software developer, solution architect role I was doing for quite some time as a consultant with multiple countries. I worked in multiple countries. Then I finally settled down in USA for the past 5 years. So Vista program is one thing where I wasn't sure what I need to do. So that is where when I was trying to look around all the stuff, one of my friend referred about that program. Then that's how I met Tushar, and then yeah, that's when the heart starts open up and then start talking freely, figuring out what exactly needs to be done, or at least some direction. Okay, we don't know exactly the destination, but at least some direction.
I mean, interesting thing. I remember our first conversation that you had, you were thinking about high performance and career goals and leveling up in your job. But then it's interesting based on that strategy call. We realized kind of just from the conversation, and this is why these strategy calls are really useful. That actually that there was another big priority in your life, and that's what we've kind of spent a lot of the time on Vista on. Do you want to just share how that evolved?
Yeah. So I'm a practicing Muslim, but it's not like um, putting Allah first kind of Muslim, right? Maybe even the subconscious mind. Only thing is I'm not making that conscious effort to put Allah first. I'm just like doing my own salah, reading Quran, done dusted kind of thing, but not actively engaging my heart and my soul to connect with Allah. Right? That is the key which I was missing. That may be one of the reason where I'm not. I After the Vista program, I realized that I may need to give more shukr to Allah with what I have.
Mashallah.
So
Wow.
the shukr part comes in there.
Nice. And that's
Uh,
amazing. So you came onto Vista, and I remember, we use the tools, we use some of these world-class strategies and systems to help you put Allah first. So do you want to just share which tools in Vista, which kind of there's a Q2 tool, there's a mission statement, there was the planning, the weekly planning through Google Calendar. Which tools kind of really helped you the most in terms of meeting your goals and getting more productive? Which ones kind of really did you benefit from most, would you say?
the first 2 weeks I'm like a bit apprehensive or still didn't understand what I need to do all the stuffs. And then that's where the mission statement helped me, right? That mission statement solidified what exactly I need to do, that how do I stick on to a particular goal, one goal at a time, what you call, right? One thing sure or something, dots or something. That's one thing. Then once I started over the weeks with the group calls and everything, the time management is one thing I joined because I want to get that additional hours of time. How do I make conscious effort of what I'm investing or what I'm doing it? And I was started using I have the Outlook calendar on my professional one. I was actively using plus the Google one. Uh, but yeah, if you ask me two things, the mission statement and then Q2 goals is yeah,
The
definitely.
Q2 system. Brilliant.
Yeah, Q2
Brilliant.
is like I fine grind it exactly at each level what I need to do that and then
Yeah.
start making it. But time management is my favorite because that is where I need to that is the whole objective I came in, like how do I make squeeze the time in which I feel like I'm losing it or I don't have it.
So do you want to share with us some of your accomplishments? I mean, there's one I want you to definitely share, like you told me about your boss saw an improvement in work. So do you want to share maybe 2 or 3 of your accomplishments? I mean, one, you've got to share like your leverage ladder, like what you've achieved there. And then, maybe at work as well, maybe 2 or 3 accomplishments, 2 things you're proud of. You thank Allah for some of the achievements you've made through Vista in the last 8 weeks.
Right. My first achievement is about was I didn't think about my Kada Salah, which I missed it for quite long some time. I do not have a plan absolutely. Then after the Vista, I put a plan and then start making it as a habit. First, I thought how best I could do it or how much I can push it. But by the end of like 8 weeks or 10 weeks, I'm still doing it as a habit. I
How
made
many
it
days you've done now? In 8 weeks, you did?
like 70 days of
70 days. So from a state of not even doing one salah a day, you went on from 5 days a day, which is like 1 day a day, to doing like
Right.
90 within 8 weeks. Sorry, 70
Yeah.
within 5. So that's an amazing achievement, mashallah. So that's your first kind of spiritual goal, a
Yeah.
spiritual accomplishment. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's the first thing, right? Putting Allah first. That's what the understanding thing. The second one is the deep lock and then the shallow work. Yeah. Most of my work, I didn't record myself. Then I started measuring my work in terms of shallow work being done. I have a lot of meetings, emails, collaborations, all the stuffs which I couldn't able to convert into a more viable task or viable outcome. That's when I started talking to my directors and then the manager, right? Saying that, hey, I want to do this deep work.
Oh, right. I didn't realize you took it to them. That's brilliant. Right.
Um, that's what I need to tell them, right? Otherwise, we do not need the shallow work and all the stuff. So I cutting down the meetings which I don't need to tell them, right?
Fantastic.
Saying that, hey, I don't, we don't need the 3 guys, 4 guys onto the same meeting. Let's
That's
delegate
brilliant.
one to save time, because we were short of 3 guys by the mid of the Vista program. So I need to balance out my time. And then I was stretching a bit, but I was just trying to how how much I can get it, right? The more I need to get it, that's where the deep work. I started blocking my calendar, avoiding any Slack messages, and then the pings, emails, all the stuff, trying to put a dedication
Wow. So you'd
to
say,
that
really, so
work.
you, I remember now, you had that difficult circumstance where you were kind of doing 2, even 3 people's work. You had it on your shoulders. And
Yeah,
so Vista and the systems allowed you to cope with that.
yeah, it's definitely right. So that's a different paradigm Vista brings in, right? So you do not have, or you can do the things. The only thing is you are just doing the, like in the Vista, one of the video it was saying, right, you will scrapping around everything. You think like you did so many things, but at the end of the week you do not have any quantifiable outcome,
Yeah.
because you are like replying to emails, slacking, and then all the stuff. So that shallow work eats up all your timeline of 50 hours per week, right? That I try to manage it. I try to cut it down, put my 10 hours, 12 hours of deep work blocks in my calendar. I blocked it most of the times. And then I started categorizing my other things like a prayer, like break, like appointment, the big blocks, all the stuffs I put on my calendar. Earlier I used to do ad hoc, but now I'm trying to make it as a habit. Like every Monday I do all my appointments for the week or next 2 weeks,
Wow.
block it, and then I make that my 9 to 5 schedule, 9 to 6 schedule, how many hours I have that. If I need work, then I'm bringing that deep work block there, blocking that, saying that I need to get this particular task done or project done, work of the project done, kind of. So that
Fantastic.
my director and my manager know that, and then they say that, okay, you're doing, I know there are too much of work on your shoulders, but you're accomplishing.
Brilliant. So you got that, they noticed and they saw the difference in your work and your output. And in terms of like kind of final question on that point, like if you compare yourself to, before you did Vista, imagine all this happened and you hadn't had this training, like in terms of how do you feel, like what do you think the transformation is for you overall in terms of as a Muslim, as a person, as a worker, like how you are now compared to how you were before? How different do you feel? What's the kind of transformation you feel you've gone through?
So before I was just doing things like thing, right? Not like without clarity kind of thing. If I need to do that, I'm just praying and then I'm just doing Quran. I was just going to work and then doing that 9 to 5 work kind of.
Mm.
To put it a purpose kind of thing. I was just trying to balance out the things, how much I can cut it down, unwanted things. That's one thing. The major thing for me is like putting Allah first is one thing. Right? I
Mm.
achieved Vista, saying that okay, the shukr of
Mm.
one thing which I sense uh, in the Ramadan, and then Ramadan also helped me during the Vista program. So the Qada Salah helped me. The work wise, I was just trying to balance it out, not to overstretch too much. At the same time, using the deep work model to get my whatever the tasks
And
and then
how does all that feel then? Because now that you've done that, I mean, these are quite big things you're mentioning. Putting Allah first, that is something which many people strive to do, but they're so busy, they're so overwhelmed, they never get to that point, right? So now you've kind of gone on that journey, and alhamdulillah, you've got to almost a bit of a regularity now, where you're doing qada salahs regularly, you're a bit more systematic at work. How does that feel again for someone who's maybe watching this and they're considering whether they should come on to Vista, and they're kind of like, I think for them, what they're thinking about, is it worth the sacrifice in time and money to get to the point where you are at? Can you kind of give them this kind of like, you're at the end of the race, at the end of the road. Can you kind of maybe give them like, how does it feel now coming at the end of the, compared to where you started and to how you
Okay.
feel now? How does it feel emotionally? What can you kind of advise people who are on the fence and thinking about this? What can you
Right.
kind of tell them that, look, if you do go through this at the end, this is how you're going to feel?
Right. Uh, for me, right, I never invested for the personal coaching, and then the money is also not a small one in my opinion.
Mhm.
So is being courageous, right? Okay, I want to invest on myself. I want to see how much I can transform myself.
Mhm.
That is the best investment I want to do on myself, rather than thinking about, okay, these many dollars or pounds, all this stuff. The courage step is a bit nervous at first. I'm just sharing my experience, bro. Maybe
Yeah, sure.
the same thing, right? It's a bit nervous, and then I was like, I'm sure or not sure, because it's a massive transformation, right? You are dragging yourself from your routine of kind of complacent or doing
Mm.
kind of your own pace things to um, into an environment where you put your money, and then the first thing is you put your money, so you want to get out of your most out of what you have invested yourself, right?
Mhm.
The tools were there, and then you need to work on yourself, taking time consciously. So that is the transformation. The first 2 weeks were hard, um, trying to figure it out. But once the mission statement, you establish a mission statement, and understand the group calls, 1 2 group calls, then you realize that, okay, I need to start picking up this. The main is, I call it as a transformation. Uh, Courageous. If you can invest on yourself, invest. But again, do not expect the miracle happen overnight. That's the right. People try to put a money, and then I want to put a money, and all of a sudden I want to be like the Alima, or like the software, the whatever, that big shot, all the stuff. So it doesn't happen. You need to work on your own self. Only thing is the tools will help you. How do you work on it, or how much you can make your whatever routine life turn into more purposeful life, or in my opinion.
A purposeful life. Love that. Thank you so much for your time, Khizar. It's been really great talking to you, and pray for future success for you, and that may Allah reward you for any person listening to this and being inspired to follow down your path as well. Jazakallah khairan.
Yeah.